Good afternoon. Good afternoon, maybe good morning or good evening to you from Denver, Colorado. So we have a situation. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit here because I'm going to go attempt to correct the situation. And I want to document it before I do that. The mod. Hey, here we go. I'm going to assume there's a mod in here. I won't be able to really read the chat at all, but I want to fill you in. I'm about 10 to 15 minutes away from going to pick up John. Everybody remembers our buddy John. John is also my buddy, and I worked exceptionally hard with John quite some time to get John off the streets. Lots of documentation. And 2 years ago, this coming Christmas, you'll see some video of the city down by the river. We were in single digits below zero for many days. They kept sweeping them. And lo and behold, District 6 Homeless Outreach Team, John Udlin and Toby Wilson, the two cops that were working together at the time. I think Wilson doesn't work on that team anymore, but John Udlin, I think, still does. Documented help. Like literally, the one time that the police did something right at the spur of the moment on the streets. And they helped me help John by putting him in a motel with their P card. The nonprofit then in turn paid to keep John in this motel until we could get him into another situation, which was a PAR motel. This was all during COVID. Once in the PAR motel, they were supposed to have case management to get into permanent housing. John's case management came down to the wire to the day that they were throwing them out of the PAR motel. My nonprofit once again picked up move-in costs for John after he was approved for Section 8. He has been in that apartment for a year since, let's see, it's been September. It'll be a year. This past September. There has been constant problems with the management to get them to even return a phone call. John's rent got all screwed up because he got an increase in his old. They never would square it up with us, me and the other caseworker that John's head above water. So the other caseworker and I decided to work feverishly with John every month and make sure that his rent was paid ahead, so John would never end up back out on the street. We did accomplish that. In the last few months, John has been calling me sporadically. I'm having all these problems with the management. They're claiming I'm breaking the rules. I'm hoarding stuff. I need to clean it up and get re-inspected, blah, 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 blah. Well, I and the other caseworker have been trying to get in contact with this management company, and they've changed managers several times. Well, John also has culpability in the situation. Make no mistake, John, we love you. You know that. You're a good guy, but you can't bring people to your apartment that are going to return and cause problems for you. John knows that, and he's trying to correct that. However, but because where this apartment building is, it's now John's fault that the entire apartment building is unsafe. So John called me this morning. I guess I have to sign this 30-day notice. I said, oh, okay, John, are you gonna work with me this time and not disappear or not be home when I come to get you or not have a cell phone, right? So John and I are working through some issues because I can't do everything everything for John. And I probably wouldn't do everything for John because John is also capable. There are things John is capable of, and there are things that John is not capable of. But I will be damned if I let a giant monstrosity of a management company whose sole income is government money in subsidized housing throw John back out on the streets come this Christmas. I will be damned. Okay? So I had to escalate this today to their corporate. Their corporate wouldn't let me talk to their whoever person. Oh, send another email. Okay, I'll send another email, but I'm going down there today at 1 o'clock. Oh, yeah, okay, blah, blah, blah. Send this email. Well, I send the email. I get a call from this regional manager guy. Yeah. This regional manager guy claims that he witnessed 6 people yesterday at the back entrance of John's apartment. Mind you, they have John in this dungeness apartment down in a basement of an 1800s building. We couldn't get any furniture in there. He has a way to go into this apartment through the back gated door. Well, it's not uncommon that the homeless line the alley back there. And now that's all John's fault. John's creating all these safety issues, right? So I'm asking this guy to give me, well, he's actually offering up some details as he's claiming that he has proof. I said, look, I'm all for John. There are children in that building. I will support you, but is it your goal to evict him or to correct the behavior? Because if it is your goal to evict him, there's no reason for us to work together. Can we work together? Well, then he got flip and told me that you don't tell me how to manage this property. Well, I didn't tell him how to manage the property, but when he told me that someone came out of John's apartment and offered his maintenance man drugs, whether it was wanting to sell him drugs or offering him drugs, he wasn't real sure, but the maintenance man went and made statement to management that they'd been offered drugs. I said, you know what? That's really bad. I expect you to react on that. Did you call the police? Because that's illegal activity. Well, you're not going to tell me how to run this apartment complex. I said, well, I thought it was about safety. So if you have children in the building and someone's offering the maintenance man drugs and you're not reporting that to the police, perhaps you're just trying to compile a list of hearsay to use against John at some point. Well, he didn't like that, but he really didn't have a lot to say, and he really got hung up on himself. I said, look, I want to work with you. I support John. I'm on John's paperwork. In fact, I'm an emergency contact there. How come you haven't called? You haven't returned any of caseworkers' calls. Around it, never provided an answer, said he was busy. Oh, how new are you? 6 months. Oh. Several times for the last few months. Now, granted, I'm not going to blow up their phone every day if John's not going to stay in communication with me. But John has this interesting habit of living in the moment, right? Is John worthy of getting evicted over hearsay? No. And I will be damned. And this phone will buffer. So hopefully when we get down here, we'll say hi to John when he gets in the car. We go to our appointment. Hopefully it goes well. And for my mods, if you don't hear from me in the next hour, start making those phone calls. I suspect it should go okay, but this guy's pretty in tune with his feelings, and he's probably not going to like something I say, and he'll probably call the cops and say that I was there to kill him or some ridiculous thing, right? They'll come full on SWAT gear. I'll be in jail before anybody even knows it happens, right? Because we're going to go advocate for John. So I just want to put that out there. Let's hope that it doesn't go that way. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going or where this management company is. Just know it's in DPD District 6. And another thing that this regional manager guy said to me is, I said, I highly encourage you to get that surveillance. You see, they don't have any surveillance in the alley where all the shit goes down at the back entrance of the building. But he himself stood there yesterday and witnessed, this is his story, a regional manager for a major housing company. He stood there and listened to 6 people bang on John is one, and you're responsible. That's where he asked me. That's where I knew he was up to no good. He got super, super stupid. Okay? I said, boy, you have all this hearsay and no video, no surveillance, but you got cameras all in the front of the building. Isn't that convenient? And it just so happens that John is the only apartment that has access to the back of that gate. Supposed to have access. It's a key lock. This guy's making up all kinds of safety issues, has no surveillance, and this is all John's fault. I'll tell you what, by the time we're done today, me and this guy, we're going to make that building so fucking safe, the entire city's going to want to live there. I know that DPD, District 6, community resource officers are going to put surveillance over there because guess what? John said he got jumped last night. It's unsafe over there. There's acts of violence occurring in that alley because I don't know why. I'm not there. Seems to me that the guy who's blaming this all on John should have some video surveillance, right? Would you agree with me? So, hopefully, we are going to be able to sign another lease because John has nowhere to go. And John has culpability in this because had John followed up with me earlier, several months ago, and been home when I knocked or tried to gain access to his secure building, and I couldn't, and he has no cell phone, John, I can't do anything for you. So now we're in a position where you're going to have to sign another lease, and you're going to have to call the cops every single time somebody is hollering your name, and hopefully you're going to hear it. Hopefully you're going to hear it when they're hollering your name outside and banging on that back door or banging on a window. All the windows are broke out in these bottom apartments, and that's all John's fault too. They've all been broke because of John, and the maintenance company hasn't fixed them. Why would they? We'll just blame it on John and board them up and make it less safe. See, I don't put up with this shit. I'm not a new kid on the block, and I told this guy on the phone, I said, look, if you're not going to work with me, you just tell me. I'll come get John right now. I'll take him over to Colorado Legal Services. I'll get him an attorney because you're not going to start an eviction process on him based on hearsay. I said, I know the system well. And I know how some of these giant conglomerates like to make money off of the government. Money. And John, you see, John doesn't bring in as much money as that apartment could potentially bring in. John's not a big money maker. So let's get rid of John and get some more money in here. I know what you're doing. I didn't tell him all that, but I told him in no uncertain terms, I know the system well. That's when he reversed course and said, well, I never mentioned any legal processes. I said, perfect. We're on the same page then. So can I come down there with John and we work this through? I said, is it your goal to correct the behavior so John has a place to live, or is it your goal to put him back out on the street? His response, it is my goal to provide a safe environment for all. I said, you got it. You've got my full cooperation. We're going to make that building so fucking safe. I'm going to get the next Citizen Hero Award from the Denver Police Department. You watch. I'm going to be calling those cops Every freaking day. Hey, listen, better get over there. They're banging on John's window. It's not John's fault. I mean, I know we want to blame John for everybody else's actions and drug deals going on, but unless we got John on camera doing it, you need to go address a trespassing issue on private property. I mean, that guy sits in the alley yesterday and watches 6 people commit trespassing, banging on the door, yelling for John, and you don't call the cops? You're a fucking liar. I mean, people do things like that and say things like that because for whatever reason, it works on the majority of the population. I just don't understand that. And one of the things that John Udlin and Toby Wilson did that day 2 years ago when we were all about to freeze to death, they wanted to put John in a hotel down here off of Colfax. I said, no, Colfax is not a good place for John. Well, guess what? That's where his housing is, off of Colfax. For those of you that know Denver, nothing good goes on down here on Colfax. And if John had some characters that he developed relationships with or whatever that stay around here, now they're all after John. John has promised me for the last 2 months. Reagan, I'm telling him no. I've been telling him no. Okay, John, well, I'm going to have to trust that. But, apparently the management company has some hearsay and no proof that this is going on. So what are we going to do about it? So I don't know what John's attitude is going to be like. He may not want to sign another lease. I don't know. We're going to have to talk through some stuff. John doesn't have a lot of choices. And I don't get paid to do this. And there is no case management around John. None. Well, this car's doing 90 down Colfax. Okay.
Yes,
John, it's Regan. I'm just pulling into this little parallel parking spot, but I'm not going to fit, so where are you?
Okay, I'm throwing my pants and shirt on right now.
John, you were supposed to be ready.
I know.
Oh, man. All right, well, I'm just going to sit here in this no parking zone.
Okay.
So please hurry.
I'm at the door in about 30 seconds.
Okay, John. Bye. I think it's good that it's documented what I go through. I really do. And if you don't like it, don't watch. Because it's exceptionally stressful to know that you've invested hours that you'll never get back in your life. And utilizing resources from you guys to make sure that John is set up for success. I think it's important that it's documented. I could have told John no. No mental health supports for John. Nope. You guys, we don't have mental health support. John needs a payee. And John probably needs to consider a power of attorney. But I don't know that I'm willing to do it. I already get accused of enough things. I have enough people still trying to take down my nonprofit, to no avail, of course. But the complaints people want to file with Secretary of State, things like, turning me into Attorney Regulation Council. I haven't had to respond to the IRS yet, but I know that's going to be coming. I just don't feel that it's worth the headache to be constantly accused and questioned. And then sometimes relationships go south with the folks out here on the streets. I won't ever get that from John, but if it does, I mean, we could certainly relinquish it, but I'm kind of tired. I gotta be really honest. I'm just really kind of tired. I guess in a selfish kind of way, I'm trying to protect my work to ensure that everything I did for the last 3 years with John doesn't put him literally right back into the same spot we were in 2 years ago come this December. And that is exactly what this management company is trying to do. They are trying to evict John. So and I'll end this stream after we say hi to John and get to this place. Which is actually just around the corner. I'm wondering if John hasn't lost his keys.
Oh,
John?
I'm coming out the front door right now.
Do you have that piece of paper that you were given yesterday?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Not,
Okay.
Not with me.
Go get it, please.
Okay.
Please. You need that. When you come out front, I'm next door by this entrance to the apartment, okay? I'm opposite of the church.
Okay.
Okay. I'll hang up now. Bye. And for those of you that have donated to ensure that John has furnishings for his home, I'm working to protect our investment. And because John doesn't belong out on the streets. John isn't a criminal. John isn't a bad person. John isn't affecting everybody else's quality of life. John is allowed to have visitors, but because of that, John, they don't understand no now. You get what's going on. They are probably causing problems, but here's the solution. Call the cops. That's what we do when people are trespassing on private property, right? When people are trying to deal drugs on your private property, you don't call the cops. That is illegal activity. Sure, I have my opinions about drugs, but that doesn't matter. What matters is they're using a legal process to try to evict John, except they're circumventing the legality. And they're going to make shit up on him. Yeah, keeper of the list. There's 2 right now. Yeah, there is no security footage, White Wolf. There's none. And when we come back, well, I was going to show you the building, but we'll skip that. I don't want to put it on camera because people will come cause problems. But I'm telling you, there is no video surveillance where they claim all of these things are going down. Yes, Bokomo DPD District 6. I think you're telling people, yeah. That's where we're at. I'll be in touch with you guys here shortly. That apartment owner must have cameras. They are lying. Listen, this place is managed by a giant conglomerate, okay? That makes a lot of money. And I'm not gonna reveal the name right now. Because I'm not going to have this claim that somebody called over there and said Regan was coming to get violent and all this bullshit. So we'll just keep that off the record. This guy has his dog off leash. This poor thing can barely walk. And that bicyclist just clipped the dog. And the guy's still walking, not even paying attention. Oh my God, I hate being downtown. I want John to get out of here. I do. But it's a massive undertaking. And it will be a massive undertaking to get him out of this dungeness apartment. For those of you, Amanda's not here right now. Those of you that have seen on video, we've been here with John. Yeah, boarded up basement windows. His dishwasher has never worked. They've never fixed it. He moved in. The microwave fell down from the cabinet within 12 hours of him living there after he probably used it once. It was hanging, ready to collapse on the stove. I came like 4 or 5 weeks after that. It was still broke. We had filed with the maintenance company to come fix it with the maintenance piece of it. And he's got it propped up with like a broom handle. I mean, the most dangerous situation ever. Then sewage backed up into his apartment just a couple months ago. Yeah, sewage. They're doing construction here, and there was some main break, and this whole building was flooded. So supposedly it came up over his tub a little bit. Up over the toilet, didn't fully saturate the floors. John said that he felt confident that they handled it correctly. I don't know. I don't think John's looking for any problems, so who knows if they did it correctly. John, come on. I bet he doesn't have that paper that he was given yesterday.
Hi, Mr. Regan. It's Mark Ballard as the area manager with over Hilltop and Capitol Hill.
So this property management guy just called me on my way down here. Pull hard, John. Hey, my friend.
Hey, Miss Regan.
Doing a little live stream, talking about our situation. So, this Mark guy called me again on my way down here, so I don't know what's going on.
That's a mad dance.
You doing all right?
Well, I'm kind of pissed.
Where's that piece of paper?
I couldn't find it. Can you?
All right, John.
It's got to be in my pocket here. Jesus Christ. I've been through some bullshit, but... And they've been doing this every month, you know. So I get rid of a group of them, and they all peel off, all pissed off, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna kill you, blah, blah, blah. Well, go ahead, get your killer going. And then another group comes in, you know.
Well, it's a problem. I understand that, but John, we're gonna have to.
I'm just gonna, nobody, you know, I mean, absolutely nobody can come in. Anymore. I mean, they didn't respect the place, they didn't take care of it, and they gave the neighbors a hard time. And somebody was dealing drugs out of the damn door.
Well, if they've got it on camera, you know, they're gonna have to call the cops.
Right.
So, John, you know, I just want you to consider this before we go sign this lease. Number one, you don't have anywhere to go, but we're going to ask if we can do month to month, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably not an option. However, you have been on month to month since, what, September?
I believe so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And
August, September.
two, if you stay here, John, you're going to have to commit to calling the police.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Are you going to do that? Every time you hear somebody banging on your door out back, kicking in windows, you know, stuff like that,
Right.
you're going to have to call the cops. I'm actually going to work with District 6. I'm going to try to. We'll see how stupid or cooperative they are. I don't know. We'll see. But I do think they need to place one of those security cameras that they do. They place those throughout the city to watch people and things.
Right.
Since they're right here, I think it would make sense to advocate for them to have one of those to catch video in that alley. Since the property management company doesn't have any cameras back there, and they have no proof of all of these things going on, don't you think that's probably a good move?
That is kind of a good idea, you know, because you know, I don't see how anybody's going to stop that.
Well, they're not. The police are going to have to start citing people for real trespassing issues or property damage, them kicking in the windows. Mark tells me that he watched 6 people yesterday try to commit trespassing, and he did nothing about it. He didn't call the cops or anything.
Wow.
So...
See, and that was my position is okay, you dump all this onto me like I'm doing something wrong.
Well, John, you know, I mean, you have some culpability in the company you keep, but where this guy lost me and what I knew he was doing was saying that if he could tie your name to anything, you're responsible for other people's behavior. Okay, well, that's not going to hold up in an official eviction process. It's just not.
Right.
So I let Mark know that. So that's the problem, John. We have to have documentation. And that includes you having to do the same thing. And that's why you're going to have to start calling the police, because if you don't, they're going to continue to use this against you. Right.
Well, he said that he would give me a good reference if
you left.
Yeah, if I left.
Isn't that interesting?
Why would you give me a good reference? You know? I mean, why haven't you communicated this, you know, to me prior to? I mean, I was sitting there waiting for Brenda for 2.5 weeks now.
Yep.
She said she's going to be coming by the apartment. I mean, the place is nice. You know, it's spotless.
So you corrected all of your
Yeah. What I had was
safety issues.
I had a bunch of paper flowers. You know.
Well, you also had a bunch of furniture, John. That was kind of a fire hazard. So.
Yeah. It's a little bit. I still got all the furniture though. I just scooted it around differently, you know.
But you have a clear path.
Oh yeah.
Through the entire apartment.
I got
in and out both entrances and exits.
I had to get rid of one of the tables, and that made all the difference.
Have you been over here before?
Yeah, it's kind of a strange little place. You want to go as soon as you see 18.
Well, it wants me to turn on Clarkson.
Okay. Yeah, because it's kind of right on that turn. Yeah, right
here, and then it's right around the corner.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird one to get into.
Right over here somewhere?
I believe so.
Or in that shopping center. Have you not been here before?
It's 1880.
818.
That was it right back there. Or it's right on this left side here. It's a weird little turn.
818 East 20th.
Yeah.
Somewhere over in here. No?
East 20th.
That's the address I was given.
Okay.
And that's,
Yeah,
I think I confirmed that with him.
Yeah, you're going to go straight forward. And it's just on this right side here. That green building right on the corner. Yeah, that's weird.
And you can come over here to Safeway and get a money order.
Yeah.
So we might have to do that. Are you prepared to do that?
Yeah. I hope I got my card with me. I'm pretty sure. Oh, this is 1960 here. There's this to the left. 20th. Oh, shit. I'm screwed up here. There they are there. Right. This is right here.
So this is 20th.
Yeah,
818.
Right up there.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
It's this store right here. Right there where those women are standing.
Yeah, I knew it was right on this corner. It's
right.
kind of in a weird spot.
Let's go.
Jeez, I'm wondering who's saying what.
I don't know, John, but that's not how it works. But
Yeah.
it does if you're not going to step up. So they're going to railroad you.
Oh, yeah.
They are going to evict you.
Sure. They're gonna
If you do not do these things that we're talking about.
Right.
So that's why I need you to consider whether or not you're willing to sign this lease. Because know that if you sign this lease, now you're bound. Okay?
Right.
And will they get the upper hand? Not if we stay on it.
Yeah.
But the second we let it go and we lose communication with each other and I can't get a hold of you and you're not calling the cops on these people, they're going to have the upper hand.
The phone is the essential thing. And I swear to God, I don't know what happens to my phone.
Well, John,
right
you got to quit letting people in your apartment because they're ripping you off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what's happening.
Yeah, they're snakes. Yeah, they are snakes.
All right. Well, we're going to end this. And I'm going to keep you guys updated. Mods, I'll be in touch, okay? And why are we talking about the war?
Yeah, they say that the world is...
Bye, guys. Gotta go.
Is completely corrupted. Everybody's